you go.
All right.
Hi, everybody. How are you? Welcome to New Jersey Revolution Radio live stream. And today I'm going to turn it over to my comrade from the Hampton Institute
Hey.
that's sitting right next to me here, Devon Bowers. Devon, you're going to be interviewing me today, huh?
Yes, I am. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Well, the show is yours, man.
All right. So first off, tell us a little about yourself, man.
So I, where do I start? I guess, I'm from New Jersey, born and raised in New Jersey.
Right.
I married. I got 5 kids. I'm a union representative. I'm a staff representative during the day, and been an activist and stuff for, I guess, about 15 years or so. If you count my union shop steward time, when I started doing that stuff, and now I'm here sitting with you. I guess interviewing for the Hampton Institute, which is exciting.
Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of activism have you done? Because you're saying 15 years. That's a long time of activism, my friend.
Yeah. I guess it depends on where you would start that timeline at, right?
Right.
I remember when I first got out of the military, and I wouldn't say that I was politically developed as I am today.
Right.
I was younger, and I remember I started going to the American Legion, and when they decided to support the Boy Scouts' decision to exclude gay scout leaders, I remember thinking, that ain't right. I that's just not a thing that I want to be a part of, and I quit the American Legion as like protest, right?
Right.
Now I wasn't out marching in the streets, or I didn't raise a big hullabaloo about it, but I remember that I just taken that stand that I'm not going to be a part of an organization that takes a position like that.
Yeah.
And then, from there, I guess being involved with my union and coming to understand how organizations advance class interests, just kind of developed out from there. So that's why I say about 15 years, because when I became a shop steward is I guess when I would say I started becoming an activist.
Right. I think that is important for people because even that small act you do for the American Legion, I think is important because it really, I think that people, when they think of activism, it's you have to be out in the streets and signing petitions and organizing people. But the thing is, not everybody can do that. You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly.
Not just because of money, disabilities, or whatnot, but like for myself, for example, I am the last person on earth you'd want to have, going around and getting people to sign petitions or organize. I cannot organize people. That's not going to happen anytime soon.
I don't believe you about that.
That is not.
I don't believe you about that. But there are things you can do, I'm sure.
Exactly. Like, I'm really good. I have a pretty good knack for writing and researching, and I think that, you need different kinds of, you need different kinds of people, in the sense that you cannot have everyone doing the same thing, like any organization. You cannot have everyone doing the exact same thing, because then other things that need to get done don't get done.
It's true, and everybody's different, and especially when you deal with volunteer organizations, which is most of my experience in activism, be it with 15 Now or the Green Party, or even unions to a large degree count on volunteers to do a lot of the day-to-day work.
Yeah.
And when you're a volunteer and the organization doesn't run the way you want it to run, or you don't get to have some kind of personal satisfaction out of that work, then you're going to quit, right? And it's not that hard to do because there's no money coming in. It's not like, oh no, I'm going to stop doing this and I'm not going to have a paycheck. It's different than a job, It's different than professional organizers.
Yeah.
You have to be able to work with an organization that recognizes and allows for individuals to have an outlet, have success, have some fulfillment out of it. That can be difficult at times.
Yes, volunteering is definitely just in general, I would say, a pretty difficult thing because it's you're getting flat out nothing. Like if you're lucky, you might get like a pizza party once a year. So I have a lot of respect for volunteers because a lot of it is just none of it's sexy. It's just a very dull grind work.
Yeah, if you're getting into activism because you want to become rich,
exactly,
or
then
make a living off of it, you're doing it wrong.
Exactly. You're in it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. You're doing it wrong because you're just not going to make money doing these kinds of things and advocating for social change. But you are going to get so much fulfillment and, personal growth in other ways. And I've talked about that as much as I can. The fact that, the activism that I engage in, although it may be different than the way you engage in activism or others engaged in social change, it develops you as a person. There is benefit to an individual by doing these kinds of things in the way of becoming educated on our history, or meeting people that have different perspectives on life.
Yeah.
Activism brings about a tremendous amount of personal growth. For everybody that I know.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that, because not just meeting different people from different backgrounds and whatnot, and you're learning, but also you are not just learning like kind of intellectually, but you're also learning social skills and in a lot of ways how whatever organization you're in, how that works, and okay, is a good is obviously there are positives and negatives to any organization, and so it's like okay,
right.
Let's say then you want to go and you want to start your own organization, or you want to start a side thing or whatever. You can be like, okay, I'm going to take all the good things from the Green Party or whatever, but none of the bad stuff.
Well, that happens. I mean, you're always going to carry those better experiences on with you. And, I came from, a term with the Green Party over New Jersey Revolution Radio, and I did exactly that. I looked at all the positives and negatives and tried to import those better things and improve upon it. And there's been growth, I think, on both ends, with New Jersey Revolution Radio, the Green Party, as well as Socialist Party, and the other organizations, I think, which are realizing that they can use this podcast medium relatively easily. It's not a tremendous technical undertaking.
No, it really isn't.
But get word out about what they're trying to do here in New Jersey, and I think that's been positive for all of New Jersey and all of our communities.
I agree, 'cause like everyone has a podcast today. All you need to be is a good mic and a friend or two if you want.
It's not that hard, and forming a community of interest like New Jersey Revolution Radio, where we talk about anti-capitalism, helps draw the eye. So that you're coming onto a network that talks openly about either communism, socialism, union rights, environmentalism, all these issues, which I think you're not going to hear on 101.5, which is spreading fascism and hate and racism and all that other stuff, liberalism, and I think we need an alternative that talks about the negative effects of capitalism on our society, and New Jersey Revolution Radio, I think, is actually leading the way on that right now.
Mm-hmm. But there aren't any negative effects on with capitalism, man. Look at the Amazon workers; they're just.
You want to talk about Amazon? We'll be here. It's a whole interview in and of itself.
We'll be here in the next 5 hours.
Sure. I mean, look. So Bernie comes out. The great Bernie. Well, I have respect for, even though I knock the Democrats quite a bit, and I don't think that Bernie's exactly, he's not Lenin, but
far from it.
He's progressive. He's a progressive dude, and he's good to labor unions. And in this day and age, a guy like Bernie being around, I think, is a positive. Even though I wish he would help independent and third parties as opposed to helping the Democratic Party, which is what he seems to be doing more of these days. But he calls out to Amazon and says, hey, they want $15 an hour, and then we come to find out that yes, they're getting $15 an hour, but they may be having reduced benefits in the way of stock bonuses and other things. And it's why you need to be careful when companies give you something this easily. Is generally, if they're giving them $15 an hour, they could probably give them $50 an hour.
Without any changes in that.
And without any changes, and I think they need a union. I think they need, if they're, and ultimately that corporation needs to be taken over for the public good, and the management turned over to the workers. That's the goal there, and I think $15 an hour falls a little bit short of that.
And definitely, because I was even talking to people, and I'm just like, okay, so let's do the math, right? The place I work at currently, I get $15 an hour, to be exact, $15.10. But the thing is, it only adds up to like $1,600 a month.
It's not a lot of money.
It's like $1,600 a month. You can't even really get like a hole in the wall.
$15 an hour, 40 hours a week is $30,000 a year.
Exactly.
How the fuck are you gonna live on that in New Jersey?
You can't, because okay, let's just take it on a monthly level, right? $1,600 a month. You may be paying 13, 14 for an apartment, no utilities included, just a bare bones. You literally have a roof over your head.
Yeah,
that's it.
And the Democratic Party in the state wants to get you to $15 an hour by the year like 2024 is what they're talking about right now.
I'm not surprised.
With cards. So I mean,
are they tying it to COLA?
That is supposed to be part of it, but who knows what they're going to tear up in this deal? It's between Democrats right now, and really the working class is not involved in the conversation to the degree I'd like to see them involved. I think liberal front groups, and I think that the Democratic Party have taken control of the conversation. That's supposed to be about a living wage, not about $15 an hour necessarily.
Yeah, no, $15 an hour is
$15 an hour is not a living wage in the States.
Like I was talking, it is not. I just basic first grade math.
Yeah.
But I was talking to a friend one time, and he was with the Democrats, and he was like, "They need to get better at saying stupid stuff." Well, like you look at the Republicans, right? They'll just say the most outrageous things, but they all line up with it. Give the Democrats to do it. The Democrats will be like, no. Democrats are like, no, we want $40 an hour. But that's insane. That's the entire point.
They don't know how to bargain.
Exactly. Yeah. What you do, you just go to the ridiculous amount, and it's like, okay, well, we'll settle for $25 an hour. Okay, then. And guess what? The goal is probably around $25 an hour. But if you ask for $25, you're not even going to get that.
I think it's because the institutions that push on the Democratic Party don't act like institutions that push on the Democratic Party. They act like part of the Democratic Party. And they act like, if I
we're supposed to be friends.
Yeah, if I criticize these people, then I'm not going to get in the room anymore, and I'm not going to be able to go to their parties, and I'm not going to be on the podium when they do this little signy deal thing.
Exactly. I'm not going to get my picture taken.
I don't give a shit about that, man. Nobody should give a shit about that. Nobody, that doesn't pay the bills, and I think that we need to talk about the material conditions that the working class is in.
Whoa! You're asking, you're breaking up certain terms. That might be a problem.
Look, it's the real conversation that all sides avoid, which is material conditions, and I think that it is the anti-capitalist, it is the communists, it is the socialists trying to talk about material conditions. And I think the capitalists are trying to talk about smokescreen issues.
Yeah.
Nonsense.
So let's talk about how did you become more, post-American Legion and whatnot? How did you really become involved? Not just involved, but like intellectually, how did you develop your politics?
So I mean, it really was, from the unions and seeing, how working people were being treated. I started studying union history in this country, and I took a class at the Rutgers Union Labor Academy, which is a great academy, and if you get a chance to do union courses at Rutgers, whether you're union or not, the history that's taught there is fantastic.
Right.
And how I had a number of professors that showed me how closely anti-capitalist movements were tied to early union movements, how the Knights of Labor developed out of those great train strikes in 1875, how during Reconstruction unions fought to work on bringing all labor up together, and the formation of the IWW, so all these things stemmed out of labor. They were always tied to labor, whether you talk about Big Bill Haywood and of course Eugene Debs, labor. It's always labor. And still to this day, the IWW is around focusing on organizing with labor and workers. And I think that just started me reading. I guess the book that I would peg is called History's Labor's Untold Story, which is a great book. It was written in the mid-'50s, and it leads from those train strikes of 1875 all the way up through McCarthyism. And kind of a detailed description of all the times labor got screwed over by capital and by capitalist politicians, and so that political development, I guess, was my path to where I am now, which is very much a Marxist labor union guy who believes that labor unions could be centers of working class power if they concentrated on that proper political development.
Definitely. 100% agree with that in the sense that, like, because when you look at, okay, look at the institutions of society, who is actually looking out for the working class individual? Pretty much no one.
Nobody.
But who has the potential, at least? It's not the Democrats, not Republicans, it's not these, big pipes, it's not Jeff Bezos,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, exactly.
If with a union, because you're a member, because you pay dues, this and the other, you have leverage.
Exactly. It's not, and I think that we see an example here of Phil Murphy, who's now, to his credit, he pretty much did what he told the unions he was going to do, and he's been a decent boss to the labor unions that are represented by the state. But in the end, he's still a boss and he's still a capitalist. And I think putting our faith in any of these politicians delays, the working class assuming more power than what we have in the current system.
Agreed. So why exactly do you focus on New Jersey specifically rather than, like, because, you have a number of different podcasts and all news outlets are, like, international or national or whatever. So why do you focus specifically just on New Jersey? And why do you think that gives you an advantage?
So New Jersey sits right underneath New York, which is the number one media market in the country. And Philadelphia is right over the river. And I believe they're number 5 or 6, somewhere around there. But they're both top 10 media markets. And we're sitting here right in the middle of those media markets. And not far north of Washington, D.C. either. So we're in this important place. There's a ton of important things going on and run through our state. We have ports. We have, 9 million people. We have a very diverse state, but a very segregated state. We are one of the most segregated states in the nation.
I'm so surprised.
And it really is, bad the way we kind of divvy up these communities. But if you drive through New Jersey, we have some of everybody. If you name that culture, we've got a community, right? Whether it be, African Americans, white, Latino, Filipino, you name it, there's a hub of it in New Jersey somewhere, right? And I think that's awesome. But I think we need to work together more. And it's systemic, right? It's not an accident that we're divided up.
Oh, yeah, no.
And so addressing these systemic issues through a statewide network, like New Jersey Revolution Radio, but like a lot of other groups, I think will lead to us communicating better and hopefully get that community of New Jersey better integrated. Even though we have all these people here, we're not really integrated. And I think that's key to it. So doing a statewide network is part of that vision. And people just I hear a lot of activists. They're going to New York. I'm going to New York. I'm going to Philly. Like what the fuck are you doing going to New York? You got New Jersey right here. We got Newark. We got Camden. We have Atlantic City. We have all these places. Asbury Park. We have racism. We have drug problems. We have all this stuff right here in your home
We got
state.
Environmental problems. Oh.
Environmental problems. I mean, you name it.
Yeah, when Flint went off, there was a Patch.com article that came out that said there's as much like lead in the water in like New Brunswick and a couple other places as there actually more than in freaking Flint.
All the ill effects of capitalism are right here in New Jersey. And so I don't understand, while it's nice to go to the city and catch a play and there's great culture and food in the city, there's work needed at home. And this is my home. My family is here and I have 5 children that are going to public school here. And if I'm going to make a difference, I want to make a difference here in New Jersey. I think the rest of the country can learn from us. Certainly, I bring in guests from varying parts. We've had guests from Connecticut and Colorado and comrades from around the country join us, so I don't shun the rest of the world. But if it's my say, then it's always going to be New Jersey centered because that's just where my heart is.
All right.
Yeah.
Hold on. Yeah, so what made you start New Jersey Revolution Radio?
It was a lot of reasons. I had finished up an elected term on the Green Council here in New Jersey, on the Executive Council. And I just wanted to kind of do something different, something that I utilized, the skills that I had gained from a few years of activism, but as well as kind of contribute back to that community that supported me. And I think using media, when I looked at the landscape here in New Jersey, I think that using media was one of the things that the left needs to do better. We need to learn how to communicate with the public better, communicate our ideas, and whether that means basic door knocking skills when you're doing canvassing operations, or whether you're here doing podcasts and videos and stuff, we need to get better at it. So one way to get better at it is to just do it, right? Yeah, do it, man. Dive in. And that community has given back to me tremendously, and it's been rewarding and fun and challenging and all that so far.
Good. Because, like, what amazes me is, like, the right is insanely organized, especially with media. They've got, like, InfoWars and Gateway Pundit and all kinds of stuff. And, like, those people are active, insanely active. And then it's like, all right, what are we doing? You know?
Yeah.
Like, what do we have to rival that?
And a lot of that does come down to funding.
Yeah.
You know, and we can see that the right is very well funded through think tanks like and the Koch brothers network and stuff like that. And, you know, we need to learn how to do that better on the left.
Definitely. Like, we may not have as much money, but in a lot of ways you don't. I used to do stuff like this. You don't need a lot of money, honestly.
No, you don't. You don't.
Yeah.
That's cool. But that's what's good about us.
Exactly.
We learn how to do it with duct tape.
Exactly. Slap on some duct tape, and
that's it.
You'll be fine.
Yeah, that's how we started here, for sure.
All right. So, thank you for doing the interview, man.
That's it, man. I appreciate the time. And thanks, everybody, for tuning in on the Facebook feed. This was a little interlude on my day off here on Indigenous Peoples Day. Make sure everybody comes out. You're going to be in Montclair? You're not sure yet. You're going to try to be in Montclair.
Yes, I'll do my best.
On October 18th, man. I'll see you then. Thanks a lot, everybody. Good night.